Alrighty, so I'm giving my personal thoughts on what I think about people going around and dislike bombing the newest and recent Ghost of Yotei uploads, where Sucker Punch Productions is now uploading gameplay of the game, and after the wake of the Charlie Kirk controversy, because if you aren't well aware, if you aren't plugged in, political right-wing commentator and podcaster Charlie Kirk was assassinated recently, and someone from Sucker Punch Productions happened to make this joke, roping in Super Mario Brothers and the fact that Luigi is some guy in real life that also has the name of Luigi as the video game character, roping in the fact that the healthcare official was assassinated by someone named Luigi, and then he said, hey, Mario, Luigi got your back or whatever, sort of saying that, hey, these two people were shot, and hey, Mario and Luigi got your back, you know what I mean? I looked at the comment, by the way, and I'm not personally offended by it whatsoever at all. I think it was just a dumb, darkly comic thing that was said, and that was it. But this person lost their job. The freedom of speech does not absolve of the freedom of consequences, and you can get fired at any time for making jokes like this. And I understand that, but it seems like every time there's a bridge, there's always someone that crosses it and takes it to a performative level. So after Sony fired this person, now people are demanding more public statements from Sucker Punch and Sony on the matter. Apparently Sony's statement on Kotaku really didn't mean enough, and now people are calling for a more giant and active boycott of the situation. And I know it's a long dialect of a lot of shit to process and keep up with this. But personally speaking, I made a video on this a couple of days ago, and I said, I always had interest in Ghost of Yotei, and I will be therefore buying the game, and the controversy and the boycotts and all that stuff does not affect me because I am an individualist who can separate art from artists, and I know that one person doesn't make up the whole of a studio. If the studio head was saying something like this, or if Sony was shielding said employee, maybe then you could say, oh, they're shielding the person, I definitely don't want to buy it now. But that's not what they're doing. They immediately made a call to action, and apparently you are not satisfied enough with their call to action, meaning you have a deeper underlying agenda to this whole ordeal, and this is the truth that some people just don't want to hear. There was one guy in my comment section, and I thought this to be absolutely hilarious, and that was the fact that he said, I never had any interest in purchasing Ghost of Yotei before. Now, because of this incident, I am definitely not purchasing the game anymore. And I asked a simple, honest question. Why are you telling me about something and you already made your mind up eons ago? You don't have to reiterate this to me. If you said you're not buying the game months ago, you had no interest in buying the game months ago, then I would assume you had no interest at all, and you don't need to tell me this. I'm someone who always had interest in the game, and I wasn't going to buy it day one, but it was going to be in my library. And this whole boycott, this whole controversy or whatever, because I have listened to Kirk's statements, and I'm gonna be honest, a lot of them are pretty goddamn bad. You can put it in whatever context you want. You can say it's taken out of context. I listened to a lot of them before making this video, and they are terrible, and I'm not surprised that people dislike the man, and I'm not surprised that people like the man. It's an equation of both ends right at the same time. But look, all right, you can't expect everyone to shed tears for him. Like that is some stuff that he said about immigrants, about affirmative action, about a ton of stuff, about Second Amendment, gun control or whatever. It's unfortunate, but we may need gun deaths every year, you know, to drive in the point that we need the Second Amendment to defend ourselves. And it's just like a thing of, I feel like America is in this weird bubble of extreme gun violence and nothing is being done for applicable situations where people should care, like kids getting shot up in their own schools. But, you know, if I get on that pedestal, oh, that's another topic for another day, right? But something needs to be done about all of this, and what folks are doing is just a bunch of irrelevant political peacocking, in my opinion, and it's not solving the case of kids dying in schools, which is, you know, something that should be important, but I'm just telling you the truth of what I think. Anyway, going back to the topic at hand, it doesn't make sense for someone to tell me that they were never interested in something in the first place, and then it advances to, well, I'm definitely not getting it, and then the same guy reiterates this to me and other people in their own comment sections. It seems like you want a hug box, you want some form of attention, you definitely want some form of engaging with other people who may like the game, hence why you're posting this stuff, or people that might be, you know, getting it regardless, or people that might be simply excited. You want some type of response because you need this attentive nature. Otherwise, you wouldn't be posting this in people's comment section in the first place. You would be like, I'm not buying the game, I'm done, and that's it. Actions speak louder than words do. So I found this peculiar, and I said what I said. Why? why? You know, that's what I said. Okay. And here's the thing, here's the big kicker to all of this, which is this comment you have seen on screen. And this was a top comment in one of the Ghost of Yotei trailers, and I thoroughly agree with this, where this person is saying all of the people calling it woke and not buying sure do keep bringing it up with all of the posts. You do, right? Is this guy wrong? You do. If you advance from I was never interested to I'm definitely not interested to I need to be in every comment section saying that I'm not interested to saying that I have to go out and dislike bomb and spam comments expressing that disinterest. Are you really mad and surprised when a person notices this behavior and says, you seem to be here a lot and you seem to be giving a lot of interest to a game you are either A, not buying, or B, was never interested in the first place, or a combination of both? Like, that's fucking stupid, all right? I don't care what anyone says on that point. That's fucking stupid at this point, all right? When I say I'm not buying something or when I am buying something, I only have to make that statement clear one time, and that's it. I don't need to go to every streamer's comment section and explain why I'm buying something or why I'm not buying something. I don't need to go to every YouTube video of someone making the game and spam I'm not buying something 5 million times, because that makes no sense to me. Or say I'm not interested 5 million times and say I'm not interested, because that doesn't make any sort of sense whatsoever on a logical standpoint. That's why I said it seems to be a place of looking for hug boxes, tuning into the situation, spreading your boycotts everywhere. Now, this is where I think the situation will progress to the funniest state possible. And if I'm wrong about this, it's all hypotheticals from here. Just keep in mind, this is a hypothetical thing, but I've seen this happen way too many times. And I want people in the comment section to explain to me how this whole dance will go and work in their personal mind when they see some of the same things. All right. Review embargo drops. And if we see glaring and high scores for Yotei, what are you going to say, and how are you going to react when you see the same people who said, I was never interested in said game in the first place, I was never interested in buying it now because the Kirk thing happened, seeing these same people in the comment section then saying the reviews are rigged, and then you start to see people making review bombs in the process because the game they don't liked got critical acclaim. Just to throw the final points out of the window, the final tally, this is not disinterest. In my personal opinion, it's very much being plugged and tuned into Ghost of Yotei in the form of some type of agenda-driven discussion, and that's what is happening here. And the fact that people are denying this is quite simply stupid. Okay, if you are plugged in enough to make false reviews on a game you never planned on playing, what does that say about you? What does it say? It says that you are emotionally immature and you cannot move on and you cannot truly harbor to your boycott, right? Because like I said, if it's something I don't want, I don't like, I don't need, then after a certain point, it's just like once launch hits and I know I'm not buying the game, I'm just completely unplugged. It's like I'm not a fan of Wukong. I'm not buying that. I don't need to buy it. I don't need to validate my non-purchase to anyone because I already made my statement stone and clear and said actions speak louder than words do. Therefore, I'd rather buy Astrobot. And that is the inner makings of my mind. I know some people might argue, oh, people express their ways differently and they think differently. But I just think a lot of this is a contradiction. If you advance from, I was never interested in the game, to I'm full on A-logging and making a goddamn account on Metacritic to review bomb a game I was never interested in the first place, and that I'm not buying, that is just emotionally immature behavior, emotional stupidity at its finest, right? And it proves that you are just a person who is way too vindictive and you just can't let it go. That's what it's proving. Like, this is something I would compare to a 9-year-old mentality. All right, you just can't let it go at that rate. I find it to be funny. People can't continue to get angry, and that is in your natural born right. I was called the devil yesterday for simply saying I was always interested in this game 11 months ago, and now I'm also buying it despite this whole thing, and Sony took care of the problem. What is the problem? There is no problem. I'm staying consistent from 11 months ago to now, but that's something that a few people, it seems like they just can't do. I'm signing off. I'm Renegade Operative. This is all funny to me. It's funny, it's hilarious, it's stupid, it's something where you take the avenue of a political attack and it evolves into something that people just stop making sense with their points and their stances at this rate. But it's comical, and personally speaking, when I get my hands on Yotei, I said it won't be a day one, but it will be soon. I'm gonna play it and I'm gonna wager the game myself. And another thing too, like if I hated something so much to where I needed to get on a soapbox and talk about my stances on it and shit, despite I'm not interested or whatever, I would ultimately at least try to play the game in some capacity. in order to see if the game will not only change my mind, but to see if I can validate the stuff I already don't like about it in the first place, because I'm giving my fair and honest shake on it. And some things I may be surprised about, other things I may be wrong about, but I'm giving that opinion on that piece of media that I don't like, which is what I did for the Devil May Cry reboot. Everyone knows I didn't pay for it, but I ultimately said I'm gonna sit down and give it a fair shake, and then I found some things in the gameplay I really enjoyed, but the story was, well, abysmal. But at least I am valid enough to say I finished the fucking game already, right? And I know there's like, you know, a pre-disinterest, but I believe this pre-disinterest in this particular category is all due to the fact that people already had a narrative hates and agenda against this game ever since the Erika Ishii stuff, which, like I said before, people are entitled to moderate their feeds any way you want. If you can't deal with the fact that someone possibly out there doesn't want to talk to you and doesn't want to be harassed by you, then I don't know what to tell you. Just move on. Like, that's the entire thing, you know? Just move on, just kind of deal with it, and that's it, you know? It's nothing you could do in that regard. People are going to moderate their feeds kind of however they want. And personally speaking, if you run to harass someone on their feed and you get blocked for it, you call someone, oh, you fucking bitch or whatever, that's not engaging in any sort of constructive discussion to them. You're just straight up cursing them out. You're gonna get fucking blocked, all right? Like, if some random unknown came up to me and started saying, oh, fuck you, N-word, etc., I might be tempted to press the block button, and I won't lose any sleep over it, because why am I going to waste my time engaging with a person like that? Like, there is no need. Like, sometimes people find it to be no need because they're not going to get anything productive out of the equation, so why waste their time? You got to put the shoe on the other foot. You got to think about the other side of the fence. It just can't be all me, what I want, what I demand, etc. That's how it is on social media. So if you hated this actress 11 months ago and you still feel the same way, but you're obligated to give attention and dislike bomb and comment bomb and review bomb, there is an attentive factor in there in the first place. And like I said, you want to be noticed, and you can never say that, oh, there's a complete lack of interest there, because you're fully plugged in to this matrix. I am signing out. I'm sure I'm gonna get some fun and lovely comments of people saying fuck you, fuck this game, etc. And my response to that is, well, I guess the river is being cried into, because at least I'm being consistent with it. Okay, at least I said, hey, I am going to buy Yotei despite the Erika Ishii controversy. I said that 11 months ago, and now 11 months in, I'm gonna buy the game despite all the Charlie Kirk stuff and him saying some deplorable stuff, you know. Do I wish death on others? No, absolutely not. But do I need to feel anything? Do I need to feel apathy? Do I need to say that I am obligated to feel anything but indifference? Do I need to mourn because someone else is mourning? And no, absolutely not, because we all are inclined to think and feel differently. And if you are a free speech absolutist, then you should know that this feeling should come with the territory, and other people are inclined to think differently as well. And this all dumbs down to anger over buying a video game. What? What? You got people getting stabbed on buses. Nothing is done. You got people getting shot up in schools. Nothing is done. And somehow the video game is the bigger equation? What? Oh, man. I gotta tell you, this is some of the most funniest stuff I think I ever seen, but I'm also not really surprised or shocked, because when people say I'm not interested in something, oh, I'm completely boycotting it, I'm not giving something the time of day, and they turn around and say, oh, now I'm going to make a full-fledged account to review Bomb. I never was gonna play it in the first place, so I'm not interested. I've seen people do that before. I've seen it so many times. It's like a nice little behavioral pattern every single time I see it happening. And the only thing I can say is some of that stuff is really, really hypocritical when you guys say it. Final point is, a real boycott, someone who really meant it, someone who didn't have to make 10,000 alts or whatever to try to be in the right, is James Rolfe. When he said, I'm not watching Ghostbusters 2016, I refuse, one video done, was never in his life again. That's really something. And oh, another really harsh reality of a point, okay? For the people that like going around and echoing this and harassing streamers beforehand, before they get the game, whether it's just people being normally hyped or whatever, not bothering anyone, etc., you do realize that the only thing that you're doing in that equation by harassing them is making them want to buy the game more out of spite. I thought the goal in a boycott was you want something to get as less money as possible, but you don't understand that controversy creates cash. So harassing people in their comment section is only going to make them buy the game more. That's not good. And I said this 5 million times, and it doesn't seem like you have the mental capacity to understand that's not a good thing. Don't do it. Do not tempt fate. Do not do it, because I'm telling you, that person is going to get more tempted to get the game, you know? And the funniest thing is, if you believed in Kirk's ideals of free speech, you know he did allow his opponents to sit there and debate him. So why are you just simply trying to shut people down for a form of entertainment? You should be trying to give these detailed and particular points. And there are people doing it. I'm not going to say it's not all people being a bunch of mental monkeys equivalent to the monkeys in Superman 2025, but there are some smart people out there who understand it, and then there are some really dumb, dribbling, psychotic comments that are like, you're the devil if you get this, if you're hyped about this whatsoever, you never said anything about Kirk, you're evil, you're the worst person in the world, and it's only going to make that person buy the game more. I'm sorry, that doesn't work. If you want to spread a message, you need to be logical about it. That bit does not work. Harassment is not going to be the factor here in terms of any sort of victory whatsoever. It's only going to make you look childish at the end of the day. All right, it's going to make your point look stupid, and you don't want to look stupid. You want to look smart. You want to look like you are the person that is the better man, and doing that, harassing normal people, is not looking like the better man. You look like an asshole. All right, now I'm going to add this part as a PS. I know there's going to be people that will probably say, well, number one, there's going to be people that will probably say, oh, you're going to be shutting my thoughts down on Yotei, blah, blah, blah. Look, if I feel like I disagree with you in a sense, I will absolutely disagree with you in the comment section for sure. I'm not gonna agree with everything you say just because you have an opinion in the comment section. That's stupid. All right. Personally speaking, I said in my last video, if you want to boycott this game due to the Kirk situation, go right ahead. I'm not stopping you. It's weird you're reiterating it to me over and over again. I find that to be strange, but I'm not stopping you at all whatsoever. I just think that actions should speak louder than words do. And I also think that because you are doing something does not mean I am gonna do something. You know, that's how people are hardwired. You know, we are meant to think differently due to individualism, right? I mean, that shouldn't be a hard thing to grasp, but apparently for a few people, it seems to be. You know, I don't have to think like you. You don't have to think like me. You don't have to buy what I like. I can buy what I like. Simple as gravy. But there's going to be people that will misinterpret that, so I'm kind of readying the armada for that. And then the rest is just your typical run-of-the-mill internet comments. Game is trash, game is bad, blah blah blah. People haven't played it unless you are one of the lucky, I want to say, game journalists that is playing the game right now in secrets, and they're reading their reviews for the embargo next week. Unless you're them, then, well, those are only going to be the people that have played the experience over random Joe 25 online. It's like, yeah, I don't really take all of you guys as valid. I'm sorry. You can want to be valid if you want to, but in regards to those playing the game right now, it's true. Those people who got a code are currently playing the game, and we'll see their thoughts sometime next week. And then we gauge that, we wager that, and then we think about that, and we put that into a discussion piece, and then we move on to formulating our own opinions when the game comes out, like some gamers are going to do, obviously. But there's going to be some that will be saying this over and over again, well into making their own review, which I think the validity can be questioned if you make a review of a game that comes out, and let's say hypothetically it gets highly praised, and then someone is making like a 0 or a 1, or they're bringing up Kirk this. It just makes me not take that review seriously, because you're not reviewing the contents of the game. You're more or less giving activism to Charlie Kirk. It's, if I go out and look for reviews of Ghost of Yotei and I want a critical breakdown of those said reviews, I'm obviously going to neglect the 0s and the 1s and the fake review bombs over the people who have said, hey, here's my breakdown of this, that, and the third. Here's the things that I didn't like about the gameplay. Here's the things that I liked about the story, that I didn't like about the story, that I liked about the graphics, that I liked about the weapons. I would go seeking validation from those types of people versus you. And that's the way the cookie crumbles. So I'm signing out for real this time. Hopefully you guys have a great day. It is gonna be fun. It's gonna be once again fun in the comment section, but I am expecting it. I'm counting on it. And hopefully you guys have some fun. You know, go out there, play in the rain. It's kind of fucking cold, but you know, keep safe and whatnot. And I will see you soon. Later.